Teacher Nerds. I'm Ron Nober, technology teacher, 3rd grade to 8th grade.
I'm Joe DiPaolo, 3rd grade teacher.
And we're the Teacher Nerds, and you're listening to the Teacher Nerds podcast, where we kind of geek out on all things teaching. Today we're going to be talking about Empatico.
Great organization.
Yeah, and
awesome.
The Kind Bar Foundation, which Empatico kind of falls under. But first we're going to get to our 2 yes more, 1 no way. And Joe, we're going to be doing holiday meals.
Oh, nothing better, Ron.
Right? Food. Food always gets people excited. All right, so let's get into it. All right, Joe, so what are 2 of your favorite holiday meals and one that you just really don't care for that much?
Ron, I'm a big foodie and I enjoy eating. Grew up lots of home-cooked meals.
Right, you got the Italian in you, right?
Right, and that's what I was going to say. Growing up a Catholic Italian or being raised as a Catholic Italian, in the Northeast, we celebrated Thanksgiving, big holiday, which kicked off the whole Christmas season. Those are the 2 holidays that I'm going to stick with.
Yeah, Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Thanksgiving and Christmas are my 2 favorite holidays.
Okay.
So for Thanksgiving, got to go with the bird.
Right.
Either done in the oven or fried in
Deep
peanut
fried,
oil. Ooh, man, that's good. And then with the cranberry sauce and the Brussels sprouts and I know
Sweet
you don't
potatoes?
like it. Well, no, this is my 2 yeses.
Oh,
These
no.
Well, come on. Then there's maybe some twice mashed potatoes, but I'm staying away from the carbs though.
Okay. All right.
So maybe only a little bit of those, and then you got to have the cranberry sauce. So that's like my Thanksgiving plate if we're just talking about the main course.
Okay.
And I'll go up to the line maybe twice.
Yep.
And love that white meat and gravy. So now let's move on to Christmas.
All right. Christmas.
And we go to my aunt's house, and she'll usually do a filet mignon.
Nice.
Yeah, done up in the oven, which is delicious. And I might have a little bit of spinach there, or once again maybe some broccoli.
Spinach?
Yeah, but other than that, that's my Christmas plate.
Nice.
And once again, I'll go up probably 3 times that day.
You keep going as much as you can.
Oh, it's always delicious, and she's a really good cook. So my 1 no way is going to have to be those yams, those
no,
candy and Ron.
I don't like the candy. No, I get you there. With the syrup and sweet.
It's
and
just too
marshmallows
sweet, and I'm a sweet guy. I like the
that.
sweetness. But that's just too much, and I like sweet potatoes. I could eat if I'm trying to go a little healthier.
Yep.
But I can't do.
When it's all candied.
I can't do it, or even just regular yams. I just those 2. I don't know if it's the texture, definitely the sweetness with the candied yams, but that would be my 1 no way.
All right.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint.
Hey, I get the whole candy thing.
Yeah.
I get that. It is too sweet.
But you're a yam fan?
I do like yams, sweet potatoes. Yeah. I can do it.
Well, you can have the yams, and I'll stick with the cauliflower and the broccoli.
All right, so my 2 yes mores have to be, one's got to be Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We celebrate it with my wife's family, and her brother does. He pulls out like 12:30, starts with appetizers.
Yep.
And he pulls out shrimp, crab meat. He sometimes brings out like caviar or oysters.
Oh,
sometimes.
Wow. And do you like the oysters?
I tried them for the first time. Raw oysters, and they're not bad.
Okay.
It's not my favorite. I'll stick with like lump crab meat and shrimp.
Yes.
But yeah, the turkey, sweet potatoes, gravy. Love that whole thing. And my other one's going to be, and this is probably more because of the family tradition that surrounds it, is our family does a big New Year's Day dinner.
Okay.
And we do, like a roast pork, sauerkraut.
Of course, yeah. Good
mashed potatoes.
The sauerkraut's good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck for the year.
Yeah. So, and we get my whole family together, extended family and everything. So we have, in a small row home in Philly, we might have 25, 30 people crammed in there. We're eating in the living room, in the kitchen.
Yep.
People are standing, it's a whole big thing.
We grew up in the same environment pretty much. And I can remember those days on New Year's Day at my grandmother's house with everyone in there. Those are good memories. Yeah. And as Italians, we would always have some ravioli or, something like that in there. And it always confused me that there's, the red sauce and sauerkraut.
Right. Doesn't quite seem to go together.
The pork was always there, but that's tradition and for luck for the upcoming year. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah. And my 1 no way, actually like our Christmas dinner. Like we don't do a big Christmas dinner. Huh. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll have a small almost leftovers of appetizers and things from Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And that'll be our Christmas dinner. So it's not as big a celebration for us. So it's one I could leave.
Do you travel at all on Christmas, or
No,
are you lucky enough to stay home?
Well, I stay home. Now, my family does a very bizarre Christmas Eve tradition. It's almost like a costume party.
Okay. Something different.
And we have a theme every year. So like we'll have it's
cool.
You know, one year is 80s Christmas and everybody dresses up as 80s Christmas. Now, you know, some people do movies from the 80s, Christmas movies from the 80s.
Okay.
You know, we've done Cowboy Christmas, Biker Christmas.
Oh, that's interesting. Cool.
One year we did the Living Nativity, and everybody came dressed as a nativity. My brother came as a sheep.
Oh.
One brother came as a cow.
Where is this held at?
In a row home in Northeast Philly.
Oh,
so
wow.
We actually like Living Nativity. We went out in my aunt's front yard.
I could imagine that's got to draw some attention.
It does draw some attention. My brothers are both carpenters. They built a
portable
stable. So
very cool.
You know, whole family's out on the front yard as the Living Nativity taking pictures.
And that's Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Huh.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
bizarre.
That sounds fun though.
It is. It's fun. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
You know, when you're shopping for costumes right before Christmas,
yes, yep.
People have questions.
Well, you know what though? I bet Amazon makes that maybe a lot easier now. Yeah, that's cool though. I like that.
It's different. All right, so let's get into our topic. Right. I know you're a big fan with Empatico.
Well, but you just told me so much more that I didn't even know it's under that bigger umbrella.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. Tell the story about Kind.
All right, so it's Empatico falls under the Kind Bar Foundation, and it started by the founder of Kind Bar, Daniel Lubinsky, and he's the son of a Holocaust survivor, and we actually have a clip of him kind of talking about what went on with his father, and founding the Kind Foundation and Kind Bar. So let's take a listen to part of the clip here.
Cool.
All right, so that was just a little bit about him and what went on with that foundation and how it started and his dad's story. But that was called, I think it was #KindAwesome, and pretty cool that they're willing to give away some of their product, and not only that, but the foundation, their part with Empatico, they're looking to give in Empatico $20 million initiative over the next number of years, and their goal is to have 1 million students connect.
That's awesome.
By 2020.
It's so cool. It's such a cool idea.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just again, one of those we talk about companies that get it. Like
they get it.
They get it.
They get it.
And Empatico, I believe you can donate to.
Yes,
to help
you can
continue.
As I was looking through last night,
right.
You are able to donate, and it's free to join. As an educator, I mean,
awesome.
It's nothing out of your pocket, and the experiences. I mean, let's face it, the experiences you get, the experiences the kids get.
Yeah.
I put those pictures down at the bottom
for
a reason.
Share those out.
I mean, the kids are so engaged.
Yeah.
And the board's in the front of the room, so everyone's attention is glued to the front of the room. And it's kids being able to see new places and different types of people and learn about different cultures where, let's face it, in some communities, all that student might know is that community.
Right, and we can't, and even the poorest of communities here in the States probably don't compare to some of the poor communities in other countries.
True.
You know what I mean? So I think any school, any community, you can get something.
Oh, there's benefits. Most definitely. They're learning different perspectives. From seeing one side, through one person's eyes or through another person's eyes. Communication, being respectful, cooperation.
Right.
Working with someone.
Right.
Trying to just set things up with another class. Seeing what that intakes. And then the critical thinking aspect. Those are all those skills that we want students to walk away with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, like their goal, they say, is to foster kinder, more empathetic communities around the globe.
Right.
I mean, what else do you need to say other than, that's
right.
it? Like
spreading kindness. Yeah. What's so bad about that?
Right. I mean, it doesn't.
I wish
any
more
better.
people were trying to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
And not only more people, more company. Let's face it, more companies with a lot of money and access to a lot of resources. Could start, I guess, doing the right thing and really trying to make the world a better place. So it's awesome that this guy's all about that.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, I mean, some people might be very hesitant to start doing this. Just the technological aspects of it,
or even the fact that you are connecting with someone where you don't know.
Right. You don't know what's going to pop up, maybe, or you have that little nerve. I know the first time you went, you were a little nervous about what was going to pop up on that screen.
The first time, I was the only one that was able to see the screen
because I to be sure.
I just and that's it. And it stinks that that's the world we live in, but that's the world we live in. And when you're dealing with technology, no, you don't know. So. But this organization is great with safety features and they're legit.
Yeah, and they kind of help, filter people out if needed, and kind of help you make sure you're getting the right.
Well, when you sign up, it takes a few days for them to come back to you and say.
So they kind of do. I don't want to say background check, but they kind of check out to make sure you're legit.
I think you have to have an email address that connects to a school. So it's specifically for educators and tutors that are out there.
Yeah, and I know it's like right now it's for 6 to 11-year-olds is kind of their base.
Which they just dropped. I mean, they just dropped that down to 6.
Oh, they did? Okay, that's cool. All right. But I think even if you're not going to connect with another class, I think looking into Empatico, just for some of the mini lessons that they have, that are free, doesn't matter if you join, don't join, you can go and look and see what's out there. And one of my, they have a few different mini lessons, but one of my favorite is called Love, the Respectful Communication, or no, it's called Respectful Communication Cards. And it gets students listening and almost learning how to have a conversation. And I say students, I would love to bring this to a faculty.
Oh, most definitely.
Because it makes you start to listen. And I think I could learn a thing or two from this because, I'm not always the best. Like I'm sometimes waiting to say what I want to say and not listening.
Of course. I mean, who isn't guilty of that? Because when you're having an intellectual conversation, you want to be able to sound smart, but you also want to be able to listen to what someone else is saying, so you could talk about their counterpoints.
Exactly.
And that's where that interchange of ideas comes through the conversation. So it's not just me.
Yes.
That's I can't wait for September.
Because you're going to jump
hit
the ground running, right?
And not even with Empatico, but just to use that as part of our routines.
Almost like an icebreaker.
In the beginning of the year. Yep, most definitely.
So just to kind of give you an idea of what these respectful communication cards look like is, so, there's a bunch of cards. Each student gets a card, and the first student, the card says, you start the game. So whoever has that starts the game. And their job is to tell a story about a meal they ate yesterday. Now, another card has listen for a story about a meal eaten yesterday. So that student now has to listen for that story. And then it says, wait until the classmate is done speaking, and then it's your turn. Now, when it's your turn, paraphrase the story that they just told. So now you had to be listening because you now have to paraphrase what they just said. And then you tell a story about what you like to do on a rainy day. And somebody else has the card that says, listen for a story about a rainy day. And it just keeps going.
And those cards are all over the room, and you don't know who has whose cards. So you have to
be listening
you're
all
listening
the time,
nonstop.
right?
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
And they have, I saw yesterday when I was looking at some of this, they have blank cards. So teachers can actually go in and create their own card. So listen about a time when you were scared at school, maybe. Or nervous at school, so you can even gear it directly to school.
Perfect first day scenarios.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So I thought that's a really cool one. Some of their other mini lessons, are perspective taking. Again, huge for empathy.
Right.
Right. And that's, they actually, I think, read a story about another student, and they kind of give a scenario, and they have to say, well, how would that student feel about what happened? And one of the cool things they do is they give them sentence starters. So it's, I feel like so and so would feel blank, and they can start it. So that way, this, they don't have to think on their feet. They have this little,
little cheat sheet.
Yeah, that scaffolding, I guess we would call it.
Cliff notes, if you will.
Yeah. Yep. And some of the other ones, cooperation, critical thinking. All the skills we're trying to hit 21st century,
and
right?
And that's social emotional learning. I mean, I would never believe you'd have to hit it, but you do. There's these kids are going through so much.
Yeah.
And if everything can't be put into place, then learning's not going to happen.
Right. And yeah, if they feel safe socially and emotionally in your classroom, how much more learning is going to take place during that school year?
It's worth doing it, Ron.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you've looked at some of the activities
yes.
that they have to do. Do you want to talk about some of those?
Yeah, we've the getting to know you, and that's just the first activity you should do, and and it's saying hi and just hi, my name is, and I like to do this, and the best part about it is, the screen's so small,
right?
And we have 19 kids in the classroom, so they're paired up, and it's great because two kids are talking to the class that you're paired up with, and the kids in the back, I mean, they're waving, their thumbs up. They have all these different hand signals and whatnot to say, like, I agree. So this way, cool. Yeah, people aren't shouting out, but you can still participate in the conversation.
That's awesome. I love that.
Excuse me. Oh, and it's really cool to see an 8-year-old sit down and say, hi, my name's such and such, and I like this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
Helping hands is pretty cool, which is basically you're just talking to them about how you help out at home, how cool. you help out maybe in the community, nice. What kind of chores do you have to do.
And that may be, I guess, depending on who you're talking to or what country you're talking to, those chores may be very different.
Ron, it was cool. We're now hooked up with a school in Brazil, and it's almost like after school tutoring. It's one girl who has 10 students, but we've also been hooked up with a class in Quebec that never came to fruition. We were hooked up with 2 classrooms in Africa, I think Nigeria, and the other one, the first one we were paired up with is escaping me. But things just didn't happen.
Right.
In Nigeria, it was really close, but connection issues.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, these kids, the quick glimpse that we saw with the kids in Nigeria, just their surroundings. I mean, right. I don't know if you could look like you were in. I mean, it just looked hot. It looked dusty. Right. It looked, and that's the thing. Like, I wonder what these kids might have to do after school.
Right. Are you having to go help 10 goats? Are you having to go get water from somewhere? Like, who knows?
And that's what's going to be exciting. We're very early in our connection with the class in Brazil. But one of the things we found out, at our next connection, we're talking about what we're doing on summer break and where we would be going. And the teacher said, all right, well, we're very close to our winter break.
Oh, because the Southern Hemisphere,
yep.
right? Yeah, okay.
And it's cool because we started talking to the kids, like, so what do you think they might do on their winter break? Or what do you think they might wear on their winter break? And the kids are like, well, I don't know, maybe a jacket because it's winter. And so it's really interesting.
It'll be interesting to see the difference.
And we started to run through how things might work, and the kids are coming up and saying, hi, I'm such and such, and we're going to Wildwood for the week. And we have to say, well, they don't know what Wildwood is. Right? They might have a total, especially being, new to the English language. Right. Wildwood might be very different in their mind.
Right.
So, we talk about, well, now you have to explain Wildwood is a beach town, and some of the things I might do in Wildwood.
And what is a boardwalk?
Well, and that's it, right? And that's what, oh, well, no, there's, and it's really cool to see them get excited. So it'll be interesting to see or watch them when, the people on their winter break might also go to the beach and might also do some surfing.
Which would kind of surprise the kids here that they're
most
not
definitely
skiing somewhere or building snowmen.
You know what? Like, that's what's cool, because then it's, as you know, with helping us with the National Geographic map maker, like, you go in and you start to really see what things are like.
Right. And you can pin things and look at, what their life's like.
And, kids are smart. The cameras go off and the video shuts down, and then they start asking questions like, how come there's not much in that room.
Well, how about the ideas that sparks in them, and like you said, the critical thinking, just like why isn't that happening?
We hooked up. We saw Empatico for the first time over in Tabernacle with Michael and Stacy.
Right.
Great teachers. And it's the questions that they had received from one time. The kids just wondered, why are our classmates that we're hooked up with always wearing the same T-shirt?
Right.
And
that was, I think, a classroom in Africa.
Yes.
That they had hooked up with.
And then next thing you know, that was the only T-shirt they had. Right. So then those minds start thinking, well, we know we get rid of all these clothes, so let's start a drive. Let's send clothes over, and around Christmas time they sent boxes of T-shirts and shorts.
I think they said they actually, on camera, they opened them up.
Yes.
So they could see those students in Africa getting the clothes
reactions
that they sent over
and all that excitement. And that's I think that was a 5th grade. I think that was one of the 5th grade teachers. Michael and Stacy kind of ran it, and then Dr. Collins was paired up with their class in Tennessee. And that was just great to see too. And Dr. Collins comes in the room, and these little kids come into the room from Tennessee and meet their New Jersey counterparts for the first time, and they look very different. But they're sweet, innocent little kids.
Yep, right?
And they're crying, they're hugging each other, and that's that was from the entire year of going through some of these exercises. Ways we play. So
that's
different kind of things you like to do. A school tour or community tour, they call it cartographers. So the kids will actually make maps.
Maps of their
what I think is cool is the weather outside.
That's great, and that again, now you're bringing in science,
yep.
Right?
And that's my first question to it's Michael Dunley at Tabernacle when he was running his, I guess, little workshop on it. I said, how do you fit it into the lesson plans? And he laughed, and the there's a principal right in the room. There's standards there. It's you can hook it to science. I like to hook it through health.
Right. Yeah.
It's the
social emotional, right?
It's so many health lessons, and there's you pull in the standards, and it's if you have to do it for lesson plans, and it's doable. It's there.
Actually, I was looking. Empatico actually has a link to, and it's a list of all the standards.
Oh, beautiful! Even
that
easier.
It would cover. You know what I mean? So you can just go in there, look at what activity you're doing. If you're doing festivals, local festivals, or one of my favorites is being like I said before, I used to be an archaeologist, so that history and that anthropological thing is they have the folk tales.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So again, us here in the Pinelands of New Jersey, man, the Jersey Devil, you can have a great story. People wouldn't understand what you were talking about, right?
Oh,
the Jersey Devil,
the Pine Barrens,
like half horse kind of looking thing and half bat,
man,
right?
Beast,
half
right?
Bat, right?
Something.
Yeah, people wouldn't get that. But
what's cool? They have once you hook up with the class, they have folders, so you could start to put pictures in there.
Oh, get out!
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
It's really they make it easy for you.
Right.
And I know if you are a little bit weary of technology, I'm sure most schools do have that technology person
it's available,
or at least one person in the district that knows how to use technology. That can play around with it. Your tech savvy teacher.
And I believe you were talking about Michael Dunley and Stacy Delaney. They were saying when I saw them in Tennessee, they didn't really. I mean, they understood the beach in concept, so they actually took the kids down the shore.
They took the kids to Atlantic City.
Sand,
yep.
And shipped it to Tennessee.
Oh, really?
To send Atlantic City sand.
Oh, wow.
To
that's great.
Tennessee for the kids to just to kind of see what beach sand was.
Well, when they were at Rewire, the kids showed up and I guess that weekend they took them to Atlantic City. They took them to the beach. Yep,
okay,
and like you were saying, the boardwalk and the casinos. I mean, I guess living in Jersey, you don't realize.
Yeah, you kind of
not everyone has that beach or that salt air.
Or even just somebody in the middle of the country here, maybe has never seen the beach.
Yeah.
Or the ocean, and again, we take it for granted, and these kids absolutely take it for granted. Or even I was thinking in Africa. Right, the technological issues that you were dealing with, not being able to connect. How many of our kids don't even understand not being able to get online,
or how frustrated they get when
it's not loading quick enough, right?
It doesn't load just like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like me standing in front of the microwave getting annoyed that it's taken 2 minutes to heat up something that would have taken 45 or something.
That's perspective, right?
Exactly,
I mean, you start to realize, man, I do have it good.
Yeah, or it's things could always be worse or better, or it's just things are different, and that's just the cool thing. The other thing I thought was cool with the activities that they have is they show it's good for this age group, and it's good for, and they have, this activity might be good for English language learners, or this activity might be good for this group of students. So that, they really kind of,
they make it easy for you,
and they help scaffold everything.
And because it is a difficult concept.
Yeah.
It is, social emotional learning. How do you teach social emotional learning? You get those kids involved in different experiences. Yeah. And this is all done for you.
Right. And it's not easy to take the kids somewhere. Right. So here the somewhere is coming to you almost.
Well, like you can use the ebook you created, on taking a tour, and you can do that, but then this is now in real life, like these are real people, these are real classrooms, so this is a real experience.
Right. And you could even do that ebook of taking a tour, and you could add that cartographer part in there.
Oh, there you go.
A tour of our
Ron, I wasn't even thinking about that. Holy smokes! I'm glad we do this podcast, man.
So I think, you have to check out Empatico. Again, even if you're not going to sign up, just the lessons that they have on the listening and cooperation and perspective taking.
They're great activities for the beginning of the year. Yep. Great activities for end of the year.
Yeah.
And if you're on Twitter, check them out on Twitter, because they're always retweeting what teachers are doing and the connections kids are making, and it's just, you can't not watch this stuff and feel good.
Yeah. And I would imagine, I haven't really checked, but I would imagine they may even have a YouTube channel with some videos of stuff going on.
I haven't looked into that.
I'll take a look into that. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes if they do.
Okay.
I guess one thing as we wrap up, I wanted to talk about in that Kind Foundation. One of the things that I thought was cool is they have something for adults and older students called Pop Your Bubble.
Right.
And I was looking at it yesterday, and what it does is it kind of looks at your social media accounts and looks at the people that you follow and kind of lets you know, like, hey, you're in a bubble where everybody you're around is the same kind of person, and you're thinks the same as you, and maybe you're not as divergent in your thinking as you may believe you are. And what it does is it then will have you pull people for you to follow who are very divergent from the group of people that you follow now, to kind of open up your perspectives.
Kind of throws you into the fire.
Yeah. So it's something I'm definitely going to check out, because, I think sometimes I do on Twitter follow mostly people who think like I do.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily give me perspective on, everything else out there. So I'm going to try Pop Your Bubble, and see what it's all about.
Okay, cool.
So anything else you got for today?
Just Empatico's great.
Yeah.
Period.
End of story. Drop the mic, right?
Like you just can't. I can't say enough about it.
Yeah. I
think it's something you look into and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Tweet it out to them. They're always retweeting things.
Yep.
And the grants that they offer educators.
Oh, right. To even meet up, or I don't even know what other things you can do with the grants that they have, but just even if it's getting to meet in person in the classrooms.
Right.
That's huge.
Like sometimes that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if I would be willing to go to Brazil. But Dr. Collins from Tennessee came to Jersey with a couple kids, and their families came, and awesome. That's a great experience for them. All on a grant from Empatico.
That's pretty awesome.
So it's all, and I believe she's a fellow of Empatico, so they offer opportunities for teachers to spread the word.
Yeah. All right, very cool.
So a great organization, and like I said, I enjoy using it this year, and I can't wait to start it from September moving forward.
That's awesome. All right, so give us a follow on Twitter at Teacher Nerds, and check us out at teachernerds.com, and check out
Ron, how do you spell that, nerds?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I forget.
Nerds with a Z at the end.
I was waiting for it.
as teachers, we always spell things correctly. Yeah, so let us know what you think about the podcast, and we'll hope to hear you, or hope you hear us again soon. Again, I'm Ron Nover.
I'm Joe DiPaolo.
And we are
the Teacher Nerds.